back in the school, the weekly Thursday satsangs that we have at the School of Ancient Wisdom, started by Ma Manize, the founder of the school. My name is R K Ramesh, and I've been with the school from 2005, so it brings me a lot of joy to host this program for you. So before we start off introducing our speaker for today and the satsang, I would request Swati to chant the school prayer.
Sure, sir. Thank you. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. This is a famous Theosophical Society prayer, which basically identifies all of us as a soul and not this body, that we're all interconnected. So, very warm welcome once again to all here. Today, we have a very interesting speaker, Dr. Kumar S K, who will be talking about the health benefits of turmeric. A brief introduction of our speaker for today, Dr. Kumarji, is that he's a scientist in the University of Transdisciplinary Disciplinary Health Sciences and Technology. He worked in the area of experimental research of Ayurvedic medicine, such as in vivo and in vitro for drug standardization. He also worked as a technical advisor for the pharma industry for the development of formulation for clinical application. He is having 18 years of research and clinical experience and 13 years of experience as an assistant professor for the undergraduates and postgraduates of Ayurveda. He is also involved in the development of curricula for postgraduate diploma in ethno-veterinary practices and a certificate program in ethno-veterinary practices, along with the Tamil Nadu Veterinary and Animal Science University. So, a very warm welcome to Dr. Kumarji, and over to you, Ji. We're very curious to hear about your wisdom in this topic today, and that is the benefits, the health benefits of turmeric. Over to you, Kumarji.
Yeah, good evening, one and all. I'm happy to be here again back in this platform to develop some of the key concepts of understanding medicinal plants. Am I audible? Swati, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you're audible, Dr. Kumar.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah. Being an Ayurveda doctor, always, we focus on understanding the sources of medicines for Ayurveda treatment and prevention of the diseases. So in that context, we would like to present, the community always to say whatever the drug available in our kitchen and the backyard are the most important medicinal plants for our primary and secondary healthcare. Many times we look for, as Ayurveda as an alternative treatment for primary and secondary, wherein which we can reduce a lot of, drug entering into our body, as well as looking for cost-effective way of treatment ourselves. So in that regard, to point it out, our turmeric or curcuma longa is one such ancient medicinal herb which is being used since ages in our practices as a food and as well as medicine. So when you look into the history of Indian traditional practices and also traditional food practices of India, you can see turmeric play a big role, as a food as well as medicine. So botanically, it is called as curcuma longa, belongs to the family Zinziberaceae. Zinziberaceae means our ginger. The family belongs to our ginger. And, in English, it is called as turmeric. In Hindi, haldi. And Sanskrit, it is called as haridra. And, other South Indian language to call it as Telugu, pasupu, and Tamil, manjal, and Kannada, harishina. See, why the source of medicinal plant is important. because wherever you go, it should be, the same medicinal plant. We may call it in a different language in a different regions, but botanically it will be the same. That is how the botanical name has been standardized. So everyone should know the botanical name. Through the botanical name, it will be easy for us to, make it standard that which is the herb. So vernacular name help us to understand regionally because we go across and uh, and to say uh, we'll be, we'll be in very confusing state when we move across. So to know or to have a clarity on that, we should know our vernacular names. So to make it to how it looks, the morphological understanding, because it's a herb which grows 2 to 3 feet tall and very strong and stout stem. Identification of a plant is also very challenging and very interesting and as well very important, because until unless if you are not able to identify a plant, and then then there is no matter in using that plant until unless you are not having a very proper identification. Okay, so it's a very short herb and short stem and cultivated spice. What is the meaning of cultivation means? Because it's one of the important source of food. So across India, you can see cultivation and very specific to some of the states like Tamil Nadu, some of the state like Madhya Pradesh and like Odisha, they grow enormous or huge cultivation of turmeric is happening. And the rhizome is the useful part and which is light yellow within, inside as well as outside. So when you look into the habitat, it's a South Asian medicinal plant. You can see eastern and you can see southern countries where extensively this plant is being distributed. So when you look into the plant for its for its history to understand, Acharya Shayana claimed Haridra has Medhya. Medhya means which improves the brain functioning and intellect to say. Okay. And when it administered with madhu, honey and grita, that is ghee. When turmeric is given with honey and ghee, then it improves your intellect. That is Medhya. Then, Hindu mythology help us to understand, it is included as Navapatrika and Devi Durga presage. That means it is auspicious in nature. That is a reason turmeric is used for Hindu ritual and functions. Then, according to, Atharva Veda, Haridra is indicated for Switra and, for Palitya. That means for a type of skin disease and also for, it is good for, growing of hairs. And it is used externally for these conditions and internally it is used in Hridroga, heart disease and Kamala in historically. So these are some of the things make us to understand the importance and the legacy of the plant. It is not a new plant for us and it has a long history to say that the Haridra or the turmeric is being used extensively in cultures and as well as traditions. Next slide, Swati. Swati?
Yes, sir, I have changed. Synonyms.
No. No, that's over.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
Four varieties, sir.
No, it's not showing in
Not
my.
seeing any change, Swati. Same slide is there.
Ramesh sir, are you able
It's
to see
changed?
this?
No, we're not able to see any change, Swati.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me
It's
Even for me.
reshare once.
yes.
Okay, let me reshare. Sir, now?
Yes, that's what. Now, mainly 4 varieties of
No,
Haridra.
yeah, now it is changed. Thank you.
Okay.
So, when it comes for turmeric, there are 4 varieties of haridra or turmeric being used. And originally the haridra, which is botanically curcuma longa, the source. Then there is another haridra called, amragandhi haridra or karpur haridra, which is curcuma ameda. That means if you understand, many of us will be knowing the family remains the same, genus remains the same, only species will make us to have a different. In the in every family members similar, the genus remains the same for 3 sources. One is curcuma longa, curcuma ameda, and curcuma aromatica, but the species are different. So varieties to understand, yes, curcuma longa is the virginal turmeric. Then in the absence of curcuma longa, 3 other turmeric are used, and one is amragandhi haridra or karpur haridra, then daru haridra, the higher version of our haridra, Berberis haristata, is the botanical source. Then one haridra, curcuma aromatica. So apart from this daru haridra or Berberis haristata, all other 3 sources look similar, the plant species, whereas daru haridra is a bigger shrub to understand. So, but medicinal and the food properties remains the same. So what I mean to say here is, we have different types from the same genus having similar properties. So in the name of haridra, it is being used or replaced, or sometimes it is pushed hard to use the other species. Next slide. Traditionally it is used as spice. Traditionally it is used as spice, and also it is used in holy events and rituals of Hindu culture as marriage, etc. And useful part, as I mentioned, the rhizome. Rhizome is the useful part. If you want to use the useful part, then you have to uproot the plant. That means the plant is going to end. That is one of the reason that it has given a lot of way for a cultivation. Otherwise, we would have reused, take a part. If leaf is a useful part, you can pluck, a number of leaves, the new leaves will come. Whereas in case of root, tubers, rhizomes, stems, and root bark and stem bark, we have to uproot the plants. So once we do that, then plant is going to die. Then if we need extra, or if you need one more time, then you have to have one more plant. So it has given way for cultivation. Otherwise, we may not get that much of source of medicinal plants. Then how do we understand the plant for its action? That is, a real challenge from modern point to our connectional point. In Ayurveda, we call it as a, rasa panchaka. That means we have different ways of, explaining how this plant is used for a particular condition or ailment. So when you look into that, so these are some of the common ways explained by our forefathers of Ayurveda. First is based on the taste of the plant, we can elicit the action. What taste it comes. When you look into the turmeric, the major taste of the turmeric is pungent, astringent, and bitter. So all the 3 are there. But when you look into that, which are the dominating taste, that is bitter and pungent. So because of that, the action will be elicited. Then the second is the physico-chemical property of a drug. It is very light in nature and dry in nature. It dries up the body. Whenever there is a scope to dry within the body, then turmeric will help you. Example, wound and pus formation. There is a lot of liquidity in such condition. Then when you use turmeric, it dries off all the fluid so that it will hasten the healing of the wound. I'm just giving it as an example, how it is applicable. Then potency, it is very hot in nature. And there are only 2 types of potency. One is hot, another is the cold. Every medicine plant can be, categorically, we can put it into these 2 categories. One is hot and one is cold. So under that, turmeric will come under hot potency. Then post digestion, after in turmeric undergoes digestion, it will be converted into pungent. See, we have 6 taste. After digestion, it will be converting into 3 post digestion. Whichever the dominant, that will be, convert after digestion. Then action, it is very good anti-poisonous. Whatever the poison within the body, that we call it as a vishagna, it takes all the poison and it cleanses the body. Then scarifying. Scarifying means it reduces the unnecessary, or it takes away unnecessary fat in the body. So it make you sroto shodaka, what we call in Ayurveda, because cleansing the channels, it takes away unnecessary accumulation, unnecessary blockages, and also unnecessary lipid formations in the body. Then skin toner, it tones the skin. That is the reason we have a tradition of application of turmeric in, or to the skin or to the body. Then antimicrobial, it is crimigna. It takes away all the cremies from the body. It can be external or it can be internal. It can be a micro, it can be a macro. Then wound cleanser, as I mentioned, it cleanses the wound in such a way that, like any other antiseptic, it acts. Then anti-inflammatory, it reduces the inflammation in the body. It reduces the inflammation, whatever the inflammation. It can be cellular inflammation, or it can be tissue inflammation, or it can be systemic or system inflammation. It reduces. Then indication, when you understand the action, action and indications are not same. Action is a property of a plant attributed because of its pharmacodynamics, and because of that action, we are indicated in a particular disease. So this drug having this action, so we can be used in this condition. So indication is a disease, action is an attribution of a property of a medicinal plant or drug. Then it can be used in diabetes, we call it as a madhumeha. Skin disorder, all sort of skin disorder. It can be a simple skin disease to chronic skin disorder. Then helminths. Helminths means, external parasite or internal parasite, both we can take it. Then infective disorder. We come across a lot of infectious conditions in day-to-day practices. It will be applicable across all the infective disorder. In pruritus, any itching like condition, this drug acts or add on. Then hepatic disorder, it protects the liver, and also it heal liver, and also it enhances the functions of the liver. That means to say, it is ekrit uttejaka in Sanskrit. Next slide. Yes. So to have such action and indication, what is a common thing from the modern point of view? As a herb, we should know the phytochemistry of it. What is the chemical compounds? What are the phytocompounds present in the drug? When we understand, you might be knowing that a lot of research in recommend for even Nobel prizes, as because curcuma or curcumines are considered to be the topmost compounds as such, to have anti-cancerous and also immunomodulators. These are the two important area many scientists and researchers are working, because that is so much of gap is there in these two.
We're losing your audio, Dr. Kumar.
In understanding of those compounds, we can easily see curcumin, curcuminols, curcuminols, procurcuminols, and to say betosterols. These are the common compounds being as an active compounds of medicinal plant curcuma longa. But it's just a process of understanding the compounds. We cannot claim only these compounds are there in each plant, because plant is a biological entity, and biological modifications will be happening every day, every season, and every geographical conditions. So when we understand the compounds of the plant, it will be always variable to the extent, depending on the life cycle of the plant, depending on the age of the plant, depending on the season, and depending on the geography. So what we have known so far is very, minimal. We call it as a tip of the iceberg, and many to come. So currently in the process of understanding the phytocompounds, the method we are, using may be leading to this compound. When we come with the new method, and we may get a lot of other compounds. What I mean to say, it's a process, and it's a process of evolution, in terms of deriving for the phytoconstituents, in terms of modification at the plant level. Both can happen over the years. Then the major constituent, as I mentioned, is curcuminoids, and then other compounds to understand can be polyphenolic compounds, and dimethoxycurcumins, and like that it comes. Majors are curcuminoids, that is been leading, and across. Then pharmacological actions from the modern point of view. Whatever I mentioned earlier is Ayurveda point of view, based on from the literatures of Ayurveda, mentioned 4,000 years back. But when the research comes, modern scientists want to do their research at the best, to say, from the modern point. When they do research at the modern in their own ways, then they got to know that these are the actions of this medicinal plant curcuma langa. That is hypoglycemic. It can reduce the glucose index in the body. And then, anti-tumor, it can reduce the tumors. Analgesic, it can, takes away the pains. Then anti-hepatotoxic, that means it takes away all the toxins for the liver and protect the liver. Then anthelmintic, it can kill the worms. Antibacterial, it can kill the bacteria. Then then anti-inflammatory, it can reduces the inflammation. Anti-diarrheal, it can, treat diarrhea. Then anti-hypercholesterol, that means it can reduce the lipid levels in the body. Then antioxidant, it can protect the cells. So these are some of the common actions being attributed or found for this plant curcuma longa through research process, which we call it as a pharmacological research. So we have a standard models to do. Based on the models, based on the experimentations, we got to know that these are the common actions for the plant curcuma longa. Then the dose, as I mentioned, the useful part is the rhizome. The dose, fresh juice, 10 to 20 ml. It's very hard because of the bitter and pungency and astringent for this plant. The maximum dose can be 20 ml per day in a divided dose, and the powder can be 1 to 3 grams. That is the maximum dose as a fresh plant when we are using at home. But as a medicine, as different dosage forms, when we combine with the other medicinal plant, the dose will be variable. As a single plant, this is what. So as a plant, from the kitchen, it is not limiting its action for human. It is also used for animal health. A lot of experimentations we have carried out at the field level to understand its applications. Yes, it is being used in udder edema, inflammations of the udder, then enteritis, diarrhea, helminthiasis worms, udder pox, a wart-like conditions in animal udder, then dermatitis, skin lesions, then anorexia, loss of appetite, in wounds, indigestion, then impaction of the rumen. These are the very common, ailments of a livestock where farmers come across. In such conditions, turmeric can be one of the important ingredient in the formulation, wherein which farmers can use at their doorstep, so that they can either prevent the disease, or they can manage the disease, or sometimes they can cure the disease. So to say turmeric as an important medicinal plant, available in our kitchen across Indian territory. Every Indian household are aware about turmeric because of its important spice in our food and our day-to-day eatables. But beyond the food, there is a lot of scope for us to take a call on that, how we can use turmeric for human as well as animal health. So some of the papers, recent publications have added here make you to understand. But beyond that, what I mean to say here is turmeric is an important medicinal plant. Every individual should aware of it, and they should start using for primary, secondary health conditions at house level. So every household they can have a garden, medicinal plants garden, and at least they can have 10 to 15 medicinal plants in their backyard, so that they can, whenever they are in need, they can collect fresh herbs and they can use. But beyond that, this spice is available in our kitchen too. You can buy or get it from the market, and you can keep it at your side. Whenever there is a need, then you can go for it. Yeah. Swati, is there any more slides to say or? Yes. So some of the important formulations for turmeric, as I mentioned, this is one of the important plant. And, to call it, we have more than 100 formulations made out of this turmeric in different dosage forms. For example, churna, powders. When we go with using powder, you can see many formulations are available. Example to say Patoladi churnam, Rajanadi churnam, Bunimbadi churnam. This is going to be one of the important ingredient in powder forms. Then kashayas, decoctions, Nisha Katakadi kashayam, you know, Varadi kashayam, Mahatiktaka kashayam. These are some of the common kashayas we are using in our day-to-day practices. This is, turmeric is one of the important ingredient. Then avaleha, it's a confectionaries, and granules, Haridrakanda, important granule we are using in, respiratory and skin allergies. Then gutikas tablets, common gutikas as turmeric is important ingredient is Chandraprabha gutika vati, then Punarava manjura, Vasanta kusmakar ras, like that. Then gritas, ghee preparations, Jatyadi gruta. Jatyadi gruta is one of the important ghee preparations made out of jati and turmeric for wound healing. Whatever the type of wound you have, just its application from this ointment or a ghee-based preparation will help you to hasten or heal your wound. Trifalagrita, cleanse your bowels. Then Falagrita for infertility. Then Mahakalyanaka Grita for, bestowing its action for brain. Then Mahatiktaka Grita for skin conditions. Then Taila, oil preparations made out of turmeric. Chandanadi Taila, then Jatyadi Taila and Vajraka Taila, etc. Then Kshara, a alkali preparations made out of this plant. Vashishta Rasayan is important. Kshara preparations made out of this turmeric. Then Asava Arishta, fermented preparations. Dashmula Arishtam, Kanaka Vrunda Arishtam, Mulasavam, Pipalyasam, like this. Then last Gugulu preparations made out of Comifera Gugulu, a gum residue. Then Chandraprabha Gugulu is one of the important, compound preparations made out of turmeric. See what I mean to say? As a drug, common herb, different dosage form, different formulation, this is being used because of its high value medicinal properties. Next slide. So home remedies, what we can do at home, until unless if you don't know a home remedy, how are you going to use the herb? Turmeric contains antiseptic qualities, so it will be used for cuts, bruises, and wounds. Hot tea can be made out of this, adding turmeric paste, ginger, lemon, and which can enhance or improve the digestion. Then turmeric's anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, and expectorant properties for respiratory infections. When you take it with the milk, then make a paste of masoor dal, add turmeric and lemon juice, and apply on the acne, which reduces the acne and cleanses your face. Then making, teaspoon of turmeric powder with a glass of warm milk, already I have mentioned, which boost your immunity so that you can fight for your infections. Then, turmeric is used, for joint pains. Make a paste of turmeric and aloe vera, warm it, and then apply on the joint inflammatory parts. Then it reduces the inflammation and reduces the pain. Then, turmeric paste is applied for, skin vesicles and boils, like chicken pox like conditions. So it reduces the boils and vesicles. And, turmeric is very powerful natural remedy and to treat psoriasis like condition. Then, it reduces the dark circles when it is applied along with our Shrigandha or Chandana in the early parts of the day. So this is what home remedies, not from respiratory. It is respiratory, skin, digestion, across to say. So all the systems it take cares. Next slide.
That's all, sir.
Okay. So to sum up, turmeric is an important herb we find in our kitchen, and also in some parts of our country, in the backyards, people grow turmeric and they use the one they grow. We are all aware turmeric is available within us, but many of us may not be knowing that how to use and what are its properties, why it is been mentioned as important herb. And as a Hindu or as any other religion, to say it's one of the auspicious plant used in our day-to-day practices, and it is also called by the Mangalya. That is how the Hindu traditions use turmeric. Rhizome as one of the auspicious material during marriage rituals too. So to say, our turmeric is an important medicinal plant, and we can start making its applications in our day-to-day, practices for primary and secondary healthcare, human as well as animals. Yes. So, yeah, thank you, and it's quite to say 30 minutes time. I just plan always because more than 30 minutes we may not have interest to listen. That's how we have to. Then we can keep 10-15 minutes for our discussions. So it's open for discussion. If you have any queries, you please.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. That was a very interesting discussion on turmeric. It was definitely something that I think opened our eyes to what is a very common and popular herb or rhizome that we have at home. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, please do so now.
Yes, I do, Ramesh.
Please, Kashmir.
Good evening. It was very interesting. I do believe in turmeric because from childhood, we've been using turmeric for wounds. The minute I would cut my finger or fall down and have a wound, mom would always put the turmeric and stop the bleeding. But I was today very interested in finding out what would help for memory, especially people who have the beginnings of dementia or even as far as Alzheimer's, how to take that turmeric.
Your
I know
query
it's a
is
difficult question.
Yeah, no. I'll just mention you. Let me know if it is correct or not. Your query is how we can use turmeric for dementia-like condition to improve the memory. Is that?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So yes. Okay. So take quarter spoon of turmeric with equal
I'm writing
quantity
it
of
down.
either honey or yeah, madam. Take quarter spoon of turmeric.
Okay.
With equal quantity of ghee.
Okay.
In a divided doses, because as I mentioned, turmeric is very hot in nature.
Right.
It's okay. Quarter spoon of ghee, quarter spoon of turmeric, you mix it and take in a divided doses. Once in the morning, once in the evening.
Okay.
At least 3 to 4 weeks. Every day.
Okay. And what type of the powder, or should I get the raw turmeric or what?
No, you go with either if you have a opportunity to collect from the farmer directly, you can collect. If not marketed product, a lot of adulterations will happen. It's very challenging for us to find a good source. Rather, you can, if you have a place, you grow your own turmeric, collect. Then there is a processing method. A lot of videos are available in the YouTube. You can see how you have to boil and how you have to dry everything. Then you can make your own turmeric powder and then you can start using that.
But is there any like any Ayurvedic school or college or any place that I can get it without making any mistake?
No, actually, what happens, we whenever we formulate anything from turmeric, so we outsource it to a team where they procure quality turmeric and supply us in a large quantity. So, they don't send 5 grams, 10 grams or 1 kilo also. We have to order more than 20 kilo. So otherwise, it's a challenge. Then let me know. No, we are not doing that. But in future, we are planning to serve a quality hub for every our guest or our members who follow the school of ancient wisdom. But in before next session, I can give you the contact details from where you can procure it.
Okay, great. So how do
We
I
circulate that
keep in touch with you?
Yeah, you can keep in touch with our YouTube channel or even our Swati, who organizes this, satsang every day. If you are part of satsang every day, then I think you will be in touch with us. So
I'm not there every day. I'm there
I'll
every
share
Thursday.
the details across. Okay, then. So I think before next Thursday, we'll get the details.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. And your talk was very
Thank you for
interesting.
joining us this evening.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just to summarize what you mentioned just now, doctor, you said quarter spoon turmeric mixed with equal quantity of ghee to be taken once in the morning and evening.
Yeah, equal quantity of ghee.
Right. And
Pardon?
To be taken once in the morning and evening, or up to 3 to 4 times a day?
No. The dose, what I mentioned, quarter spoons of each has to be divided. One part in the morning, one part in the evening.
Okay.
Quarter spoon itself has to divide.
Fine.
Is it teaspoon or tablespoon?
Madam, if you go with a tablespoon, that would be better.
Okay. So I had a question as well, Dr. Kumar, and that is, you spoke about how turmeric can be a part of your herbal garden in the kitchen. So would you have any, in the Ayurvedic texts, is there a standard platter of plants, medicinal plants that we can have in our kitchen garden?
Absolutely. We have a list of medicinal plants. Yeah, at home, what all you can grow, like our turmeric, pepper, piper longum, which we call it as a hipli. Then our, Cissus quadrangularis, Tinospora cardifolia. Like, to summarize the primary health conditions of a day-to-day, sufferings, to that we have nearly 15 medicinal plant, which we can share the list, or in the next session, I'll go with that, which are the common plants required for our, kitchen garden or backyard garden. Then those plants will be available in and around medicinal plant nurseries. Then you can procure those plants, and then you can start, growing your own medicinal plant garden at your home.
That will be very nice, because nowadays people are slowly becoming open to the idea of small herbs and medicinal plants at home, because there is so much of adulteration, or we don't know in the process of reaching our homes what it has gone through. So for those who are able to, it would be very good to do this. Also, it is quite healing to look after your own garden if you have the time at home.
Yeah. Your mind will become fresh, and you'll start, so there are some of the papers published on that. The people who resides within the vicinity of the medicinal plants, they are the most immune persons, to say, because always they are with the plants, and a lot of positive energies they're going to have from those plants, because the plants are healing in nature. So you get healed by yourself when you are staying or connected with those plants. A lot of research papers published on that.
So that means it has a direct impact on your pranamaya kosha and manomaya kosha.
Yes, kosha. Yes, that is what I mean to say. Yeah.
That's incredible, actually. I wish more people could be.
I just wanted to ask something.
Please do.
May I? Okay.
Please do.
Yeah, madam. Please.
When I shifted to a new residence, we moved from an apartment to a house, and it's the first time I'm living in the house with a bit of a garden space. So, I was absolute zero in gardening. I still might be, from zero, I might have progressed to maybe 20% now. But my point is, I was looking around for people to help with that to setting up a garden, because I didn't know anything. And I realized I'd Googled it up and I found there were so many people who do landscape gardening, and they are providing the services of setting up gardens at a cost. And then I was just wondering, when you're listening to this lecture, I'm just wondering, why don't people also set up, offer services of setting up Ayurvedic garden spaces? Let that be an entrepreneurship, that people who have an idea of Ayurvedic plants, and maybe from the Ayurvedic fraternity itself, setting up a entrepreneurship where they would help in people to set up Ayurvedic garden spaces, and also in that process giving the important information and training and whatever is required, in order, because it's looking at it like a baby that's handed over to the person who has no idea how to raise the baby. The knowledge of raising the baby also is shared, as well as setting up the garden, then more people may have it in their space. It's just a thought that came up, and when the conversation was happening. I plugged in a bit late though.
Actually, that's a very interesting concept, Ushaji. In fact, I've heard of people, some companies setting up and maintaining small little hydroponic gardens on the terraces of many homes, or even in the balconies of apartments. And one very good way to support children to become more humane, I believe, is to enroll them to also start taking care of these gardens. And once they become responsible for the blossoming of another life, which is medicinal especially, they also learn a lot about how to be more humane.
Yes, that's right. Also, I wanted to say one more thing.
Coming to
I just want to add one small thing to this also. In the process of setting up my garden, I find that my area, it's all houses with that same. It's like a gated community where they've had houses with little garden space. The funny thing which I found was that, in my process, I realized, okay, gardening means you'll have flowers, you'll have plants, you have leaves, you have beauty around you, but they also dry up and they fall, and that's also part of the beauty of it. It's a cycle. And what amazed me is how neighbors and people around will complain because of dry leaves and twigs falling, and therefore their suggestion is chop off that plant. So what is that mindset? What is this fear that makes them want to, eradicating or cutting off seem to be the solution, rather than trying to understand it's a cycle?
I think it all boils down to.
Can I come in, madam, to answer?
Please do, doctor.
Yeah. First of all, the first question. So, interesting question, how, the organization or who is helping to develop a Ayurveda medicinal garden at home. Yeah, a lot of organizations are already doing to say, but even the School of Ancient Wisdom is also thinking on that, how we can help our, our team, or, who follow us, to make them to understand, as, online sessions or offline sessions in the campus itself, who comes for our retreat program, make them to understand the importance of medicinal plants and its application, then how they can grow at their home or backyard. That's one of the component we added in our retreat program. Whoever comes to the campus to have Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy retreat, they can also learn this during the retreat.
Okay.
So this is what we have planned. So once you come in, then you will get to know that how we can help you out in identify 25 medicinal plant and how you can grow at your backyard. So that we will help you. The second is the second question, the neighbor's problem in identifying the issue of dry leaves. So for that also we are working on how every household can prepare their own vermicompost for their plant using dry leaves.
Yes. In fact, our society.
So once every household learns that.
Sorry, sir. No,
yes,
no. I just wanted to say that vermicompost is what the society is looking at, and that too, interestingly, again, out of the 20 or 23 homes that are here, only 2 are doing it, and the rest are not. And why they are not doing? Like I said, I was a novice, and I needed to know how to do it. I had no idea. So the person who used to come once a week to garden, he said, I know, madam, and he did something. And the outcome of that was that within a week's time, we had horrible, stinking, really bad, stinking stuff. And this was done 2-3 times. Finally, I said, please, no, we need to find a better way. So the point I'm trying to make is that even the seasoned gardeners are hesitating to make this vermicompost in my gated. I don't know how it is in other places because of the stink. They're saying the smell, the rats will come. They're fearful of a lot of things. So unless things are made easy, people don't
Yeah,
adopt it, is what I've realized.
that is there, madam. Wherever you do, there are chances of getting, smell and, the stinkiness, and, rats may come. But, there are standards ways of doing, and before that, they can use it for their own garden purpose, not to
Correct.
keep for more than a month or something. So, yeah, these are the only ways to address the problem. Within that solution, if you are finding one more problem, then you need to find one more solution for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But sir,
That's true.
I would suggest, helping also setting up entrepreneurship, because it's a way for people to uplift their lives. There's so many people who are struggling, struggling for various things. They're looking for jobs and things like that. If some kind of a seva that one can do while one is doing one own things, equipping such people with the wherewithal on how to set up, have the knowledge of setting up of Ayurvedic herbs and setting up little nurseries on it, and going and bringing that whole knowledge to a customer or a client and really setting up the whole space for them, then the customer just has to maintain it. The maintenance and the knowledge of the whole thing, if that can be created as an entrepreneurship, I feel we'll have more people having Ayurvedic gardens in there. Right now, they want beauty and they want flowers, or they want puja flowers because they do puja. So they'll want plants which have ample flowers they can use for puja, or they want an ornamental garden. So Ayurvedic garden is, it's just a thought that came up during this, when you're talking. So just an idea.
No,
So it's a good idea. We feel,
continue, doctor. Please.
but we have to identify right passionate persons to be part of it and to learn to become an entrepreneur. So it's a process. If you come across any such people who are interested, you can connect with us, so that we'll try to understand what's their interest. Then we can make them to go a process of learning that, and then they can start their own entrepreneur business for that.
Right.
Please do leave your number here, doctor, so that for those who want to connect, maybe in the chat box, if you could type out your number, phone number.
Yes.
We can connect with you then.
Yeah. I'm a consulting Ayurveda doctor in the School of Ancient Wisdom Ayurveda Hospital. I'm a medical director there.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard
part
about
of the organization.
So he's available for the consultations in the school, sir. So anytime you can visit the school, and we have the website where the Ayurveda exclusive Ayurveda consultation number is also given. You can just call us. We are one call away. So you can call us, and doctor is ever ready to give the consultations.
Oh, wonderful. I wasn't aware that it was the same Dr. Kumar.
The consultation for patients, is it? I saw in the bio you do. What interested me, sir, when I saw your bio, was the fact that you are doing some work with ethno-veterinary sciences. And I was intrigued by that. Why I was intrigued is my son is at the cusp of his life where he's trying to figure out what he wants to do, and he was saying anything to do with animals. And then the small idea of veterinary science has come into his mind, and I was thinking, is there an Ayurvedic option of the ethno or Indic roots of addressing healing, be it animals or people? Is there a route like that? It was on my mind. So I was very intrigued by their bio.
Madam, basically, I'm a human Ayurveda doctor, master's in Ayurveda, and having nearly 18 years of Ayurveda human practice. And apart from that, I was working in the university setup where Ayurveda has been extrapolated for the animal science, and we have done a lot of achievements to say. And Ayurveda, Pashu Ayurveda or ethno-veterinary has been introduced into veterinary curriculum through our efforts and work what we have done across India. So that, the whole idea is Ayurveda is not limiting to human, because Ayurveda has three streams: Ayurveda, Pashu Ayurveda, and Riksha Ayurveda. And Pashu Ayurveda and Riksha Ayurveda is sidelined for since ages. So now we want to revive it, and to prove that the concepts and the ideas of Ayurveda remains the same, and it is very handy for the poor farmers to take this knowledge, and they can treat their own animals without much, support by the professionals.
Correct. Yeah. Wonderful.
Interesting.
That's the reason we worked hard to say that Ayurveda is not only for human, it is also for animals.
And plants. Vriksha means plants, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Ayurveda, plants.
Okay. I have a question.
Are you available in the School of Ancient Wisdom all days of the week, or is it on specific days?
Yes, I'm available, madam, all the days.
So in order to come
other than Sunday.
Other than Sunday. So in order to meet you, that number which you provided, you just have to call and then come, or do you have to set an appointment? What's the process?
Madam, that's my personal number. Even you can get into our website, and there is the other number has been given for appointments and all those things. And even you can also write to us, and you can reach out. If you find difficulty in that, you can directly either call me or message me.
Ma'am, there are 3 ways to get connected with us. One is we have the contact form in the website, and we have mentioned all the numbers for the bookings as well as the Ayurveda consultations. And now sir has also given his number. You can contact in any of these ways, but we will be in touch with you.
Okay, fantastic. So there is like the entire Chigiksa happens there, like as in, all the, like the 7-day, 21-day Chigitsa or all of that also happens there? Or?
Yes, madam. And we also have 1 day and 1
for
week
7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month.
Okay.
We have detoxification programs as well, which comes under 1 day package, or 7 days, 1 week. All these kinds of detoxification process also happens. So do visit
right?
campus once.
Sorry? Yeah. Okay.
So I have a question for the doctor. Before I ask my question, I also wanted to add, to close the topic that Ushaji was mentioning. I had started a composting activity in the previous apartment where I used to live, and also in my son's old school. And if you do it correctly with wood chips, which is very easy to get from a wood making shop, you could have compost that doesn't smell for 6-7 months on end. I never had any smells or insect problems before. You can do it in your balcony also, so it is that effective.
Okay, so can I reach out to you for this specific tips, because what we were doing wrong,
Sure, I'll be happy to. And now the question for the doctor is, they say Ayurveda is a pseudoscience, because I really believe in Ayurveda. But of course, they say allopathy is something, we are often told that allopathy is, of course, you can't do without it, because in emergency situations, the allopathic systems are very good, accidents and other rehabilitation. But when it comes to lifestyle diseases, Ayurveda is good, but they still call it a pseudoscience. What is your opinion on this, Dr. Kumar? Is it really true, or does it also depend not only on modern science, but also a certain amount of faith for Ayurvedic medicines to work? Was I audible, doctor? Dr. Kumar, are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, was my question audible?
No. Can you repeat it?
Sure. My question was, we are often told by modern science that Ayurveda is a pseudoscience. And that while allopathy has its place, especially when it comes to emergency care, but Ayurveda is very useful, we all know, for lifestyle-related problems. But And when they call it a pseudoscience, does it mean that Ayurveda is partly a science and partly faith-based? That we have to have adequate faith to make sure that the Ayurvedic medicines work properly? What is your opinion?
Yeah, to answer your question, see, what is the meaning of science? If you explain me, then it would be good. The scientists, what they claim or they call, based on the one way of understanding the word. Now you are sitting in a room and seeing from your window, you see what you see from the window, that only you can say what you are seeing. Am I correct?
Correct.
You just go out of the door and you can see the other view of your garden. Which is correct, which is wrong from your point? What you have seen from the window is correct. What you have seen from the door is correct.
It depends on your perspective. But what the truth is could be something else, much more.
That's what. What is the science with the models, with the frame that science has been established with the concepts of understanding modern science as atomic theory is a one way of understanding. From the Ayurveda, we have Panchamabhuta theory, and the science of Panchamabhuta to Tridosha Saptadhatu is the another way of understanding the science itself. We cannot bring together. We cannot apart together. The way what the traditional science explained is one way of understanding the science. From that point, Ayurveda is a science. When you look into it, the modern point, if you're not able to establish from the point of modern, you cannot claim that is a pseudoscience. It's a process. We may learn tomorrow how we can establish that. Is it not?
Yes.
Today, we are not able to show the principle from the modern point. That doesn't mean that it is not a science. Plenty of examples I can quote you in the next classes to come. But the modern scientists, they say that what they have seen is the only truth. What they have not seen is not the truth. That is the reason many times they call it a pseudoscience. But a organization like AIMS have started doing a lot of research, and they have proved that Ayurveda is not a pseudoscience and it is a science. It is yet to come with the models and understanding of those principles from modern way.
That makes it very clear. Thank you, Doctor.
Sir, can I just say one more? I'm so sorry. It looks like I'm hounding the space, but I'm really sorry. This last question of yours is Ayurveda pseudoscience. I just wanted to share with the doctor. I'm a very avid consumer of podcasts. And I happened to see one particular podcast where this person has got over some 5 lakh or 50 lakh or whatever, humongous subscribers. And the guest on the show, one Dr. Abraham or something like that, he's from Kerala. And he says Ayurveda is a pseudoscience, and he makes one big case about it. He blasts it. It was very derogatory. But for me, as a person who don't really take all these things, in like this, I was just thinking, when there are 50 lakh subscribers, I mean, I don't know, it's 50 or 5 lakh, whatever, but it's a humongous number of subscribers who are watching this, they're going to be influenced. Then I was so furious by the statement. I was searching to see, okay, where are the Ayurvedic side, podcasts? And I found it very hard to find. There were one or two here, there. So I'm just thinking today, when technology is how people are, technology is consumed is in our lives, almost completely. I think that's a wonderful tool to bring the awareness out into the public space about all of Indic sciences. In all of these popular podcasters, maybe if you're well known enough, they'll reach out to you. If somebody is saying it's in pseudoscience, they should have an Ayurvedic practitioner sitting there talking about about Ayurveda and the wonderful part of Ayurveda. So I had called up a few numbers, Ayurvedic clinic numbers, and you get their customer care. And I was saying, see, I came across this. You as an organization, why don't you also start making podcasts and things like that? Because you need to reach people to eliminate this impression of, of this, what do you call this, nasty propaganda that's out there. but they were not willing to hear me. So now this opportunity, I'm just telling doctor directly, you know, the Ayurvedic fraternity has to collaborate, come together and be a big voice, you know, to counter these kind of propaganda. I just had to say this. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. That was a very useful suggestion. Maybe doctor can take it up. Doctor, are you with us?
Yes, he is with us, but there is some network congestion over there.
Anyway, so now if there are any more questions, please do speak up. I hope the doctor is able to hear us. Kumarji, are you there? My son is repeatedly reminding me to inform you all about what I call a magic powder. At home, we have this powder that we use for bathing, which I found very effective. It is something similar to what Dr. Kumar had just mentioned. We use an equal mixture of chana and moong dal. We take it to the mill and grind it, and in that we put, if I take 1 kg of each of chana dal and moong dal, I put about 250 grams of, or 400 grams of, up to 400 grams of turmeric. That really makes a huge difference. In winter, we mix it with a little bit more of curds, which is more greasy. Curds works every time. And in winter, we add a little bit of oil as well, but it works really well to supplement soap. So something I wanted to share about turmeric here. But if there are no more questions now, we have now come to the end of the session. I hope Dr. Kumar is able to hear us because we can't see him or hear him at the moment. I hope he is with us because I would like to formally thank him on behalf of the School of Ancient Wisdom. Today was a very interesting, and it is quite, the participation was really, passionate by people who really believe in what we're talking about today. So it's a very interesting way to actually uplift oneself, because if you look at your own herbal garden, you actually start the healing process, and that mind and body are interconnected, and it's connected therefore also with our spiritual growth. So this is another way to support one's personal growth, to become more self-aware, to take care of one's own body and the mind, which will inevitably lead to our personal growth, personal spiritual growth. So this is what I think today's session was about for me. And also I'm very happy to see Dr. Kumar, because I've heard about the doctor who comes to the school, but first time I'm putting a face to the name. So very nice to have met you in person, Kumarji. So on that note of gratitude, let us all sit straight with our back, neck, and head aligned. Take a deep breath. Let go. Let us all center ourselves. The silence within. Let us all remember our loved ones, those who need healing. Also, let us send out prayers to the world at large. Let our human consciousness be raised at the moment as we do the Loka Samasta. Please sit straight with your back, neck, and head aligned. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you all for coming, and see you next Thursday. And thank you, Kumarji, once again. God bless.